What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? We are going to get right into our template edit for tonight. So this one is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle theme designed. So although I'm showing it to you with these beautiful turtles right now, just understand that they will be silhouetted by the time that you get this design. The idea here is so that you see how you can change out elements, how you can make it your own, and also how you can really take this design and flip it in 5 minutes or less. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our flip here. Now I want to show you that we do have smart colors enabled on this design. I'm going to go ahead and turn it into our t-shirt just so we are used to how we're traditionally designing this thing. And first thing I want to do is go ahead and incorporate our smart colors here in the background. So I'm going to do that by turning on either of the colors. So I can turn on the blue. If I turn on white or black, it's just going to make the background black and white, which is really cool too. And then, of course, I can change it to this color. I have a gradient enabled here. I can disable the gradient, or I can enable it and then put on my second color and let it kind of do a dual tone gradient here. Now, of course, once you get into this, you can play with the blend modes as much as you want and kind of get a feel for what some of the other blend modes do and really make it something that stands out. But for the simplicity of it, I like y'all to be able to get into this file and change it in 5 minutes or less. So let's go ahead and show you how to do that. I'm going to change out the colors first because for me, or the image of the colors, whichever one I'm pulling the colors from. So usually I'm using some kind of logo. So a logo is going to give you a good place to pull colors from. Also, what somebody is wearing could also give you an option to use that color picker tool and pick colors from the outfit. All right, so in this case, what we're going to be doing is changing the colors based on a new subject. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go to our characters here. And right above this is your photo layer. This is a layer that you're going to be editing. So I'm going to make this one red and blue like the character here. And the character just happens to be AI artwork. And of course, we use the AI artwork and worked with a company that was able to change out the face so that it resembles my nephew, right? And what I'm going to do is double click on the photo here. Boom. And we're going to switch out that photo there. Let me go to, this is the file. Remember we made this AI art together. So this is the original AI art. And this one looks much more like my nephew. Although when I put into Midjourney, I put my nephew's photo in there and told them to use that in order to create this image. However, the resemblance is not really there. It created a generic character. But when we did the service, they were able to basically morph his face into that mode, which is really cool. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, if you have an image with the background, how you can go ahead and pull it into Photoshop, remove the background. So we'll drag and drop it. You know, this one isn't the one with them zoomed all the way out, but this is cool because you'll get a chance to see it a little bit different. All right, so you have the option, and if you don't see this option here, I'm not even in beta, but the new version of Photoshop has the option down here. If you don't see it, you can go to Window and go to your contextual taskbar. So see how it was checked off? Now check it back on. As you're on a layer, my suggestion is to go ahead and go to either your quick selection or smart selection tool. And then where at the top where it says select subject, hit that drop down menu and hit cloud. If you hit device, it goes quicker, but if you hit cloud, it uses artificial intelligence to understand what you are trying to remove the background from. So it gets a cleaner result most times. Now you can choose to select the subject or to remove the background. We'll just go ahead and choose remove background and see if we have any issues there. And just give it its little time because it is accessing the internet to do that. It didn't clean it up quite as good as I would have wanted, like around here in the shoulder area. But if I want to, I can go to my selected mask here. And I can go ahead and clean that up. So I can zoom in a little bit. And I can tell it that I want to take away that white there. And it's understanding what I'm doing pretty much here. And then also I have the option to smooth it. So I can bring up my smoothing. I can feather it just a little bit. I like to feather it about 1 to 2 pixels, depending on the artwork size that I'm working with. And then sometimes if I feather it a lot, I also have to come back and increase the contrast to kind of make up a cleaned up edge. So if you have a really messed up, fuzzy, jagged edge, sometimes that technique works really well to increase the feathering and the contrast at the same time. And it kind of creates a hard line where there may not have been a hard line before with that, or a clean line with the cutout. All right, so I'm just going to hit OK here. You see it cleaned up that layer mask there. So this would be, let me go ahead and make it a little bit bigger here. I'm going to zoom out, Control 0. My shortcuts don't want to work while I'm on live. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Now let's go ahead and make that a little bit bigger. And I forgot to check with y'all to see if y'all can hear me. I just went in willy-nilly, y'all. Just willy-nilly, skillfully. Let me know if y'all can hear me. I feel like y'all would have said something by now if y'all see me talking and you couldn't hear me. But since you can hear me, y'all go ahead and say, hey, tell me where y'all chiming in from. Right, so this is going to be our new one. And like I said, the imagery here, like for the face, totally different, but it's the same AI character. So we're able to build on that. Now, you know how I feel about hard lines. And this image already has this clean mask around it. So if I want to, I can just group it, create a new layer mask, and then I can do my fade off from here. I'll do a gradient, make sure I choose basic and the transparent to the foreground color gradient. And then I make sure that I'm on the inside meat. Hold down shift so I hold it steady. If I don't hold down shift, see how I can go any direction. But if I hold down shift, it goes straight up and down. I'll do it right about there. That way I get a nice fade off without even having to use the brush tool. So there we go. Yes, I will be saving the live. This is actually what you all are doing in class today for the VIP members. And for your standard members, you all will have this class in your pre-recorded section in about 7 days, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to turn off the characters for a moment so I can see him here. And then what we're going to do is from this image, we are going to select the colors. All right, so from here, I'm going to grab my color picker tool and I'm going to find what color I want. I'm going to go with a red here, even though it's a little pinkish. There we go. There's a red right there. I can double click on the foreground color and tell it to add to swatches. And I don't like to add it to my current library. I just turn that option off. And as you can see, it ends up at the top here. And then let's go ahead and grab this blue. And what kind of blue do I want? A darker blue or a little bit? I think I'm going to go with a brighter blue and go ahead and add that one to swatches too. All right, so now I have my blue and my red. So I'm going to change this whole theme. So where there is pink right now, I'll change it to blue. And where there is the teal color right now, I'll change it to the red color. So in order to do that, we're going to head to our smart colors at the very top here. And I'll go ahead and change out the pink color. So let's add that to the top. And I'm going to duplicate the color just so you all can keep that pink and blue because I think it went really well with the background. And then I will select the blue here now. Let's hit yes to update and see if that pink changes out everywhere. And it does. And now for color number 2, I'm going to double click on color number 2. And let me duplicate this one so you all can keep that layer. And I'll change that one to the red color we selected. All right, so instantly we get a color change. The whole point of this, y'all, is I want you to be able to have templates where you can immediately change out in 5 minutes or less and go ahead and go about your business. Which your business is being able to make more money, service more clients, and really get more of your work out there, right? All right, so with that color change there, I'll show you there's a few options that you have here. So you notice how the top one looks like it's glowing, like it's neon, and the bottom one has more of a metallic text. So if you right click on, that should be text number 2. So I'm going to go into text 2, the outline. You'll notice that it has a effect option here that you can turn on or turn off based on whether you want it to look like it's neon or you want it to look metallic. And of course, you can change the color. So for this one, let's see. I can change it to the red color. If I change it to blue, the only way you're going to see it is if you disable that layer mask there. And then I can get the blue here. You can also change the levels in order to get a little bit more of deeper colors or even to switch up how much of the midtones are showing versus the shadows. And that's going to be important depending on whether you're working with mid-tone colors, very, very dark colors like navy blue or hunter green, or even very, very light colors like your pastels. Okay, so depending on that, you may have to change your levels in order for those colors to apply correctly to the effect that's down below it. And as always, if you choose white or black, it's just going to make it silver on the outside. So you may even like that effect. I think I actually like that with the silver around it. And then up here up top, same thing. We have text number 1. Now, if we want to change the text out, right now it says cowabunga, right? If I want to change that out, I can double click on this smart object. And instead of cowabunga, I'm going to duplicate this layer. So we keep cowabunga. I had to actually Google how to spell cowabunga. Anyhow, so I might type up here. Maybe it's happy birthday. Maybe it's congrats because it's a graduation shirt. You'll be able to change this text out any way that you want to. So for this one, let's say I'm going to leave Cowabunga here. And then what I'm going to do is change out the text here where it says your name. I'll show you exactly how to make it your name. So let's right click, and this is going to be text number 1. Oh, I'm sorry, text number 2 because it's at the bottom. Text number 1 is at the top. And let's double click. All right, and instead of your name, just turn off the previous one, and then that way I can double click here. So let's say it's Marvin, and Marvin is shorter than your name. So if it's shorter, you can stretch it out to make it longer, or you can leave it the existing size. Just keep in mind, the more that you modify something on the template, the more you're going to have to change it over and over again. If you modify it inside the smart object, you can pretty much be very sure that it's going to be consistent every time you change this out. Let's say it's a long name. Instead of Marvin, maybe the name is Bartholomew. I don't even know how to spell Bartholomew, but let's make it work. Bartholomew. Let's try that. Hopefully I spelled Bartholomew right. All right, maybe it doesn't matter because maybe nobody's named Bartholomew anymore. And if you are, I am incredibly sorry if I misspelled your name. All right, so what I would do is I would kind of push it in here. I'm holding down shift while I'm doing this because in order to push it in, I am disproportionately squishing this thing. So in order to do that and offset the lock that's on up here, the ratio lock that's on at the top, I have to hold down shift to override that ratio lock. Here I go. I can squish it down a little bit better there. And now Bartholomew is hopefully happy with his name being on the shirt. All right. And then here, I'm going to take it back to our other name just because I want to demonstrate that to you. I don't want to have additional layers if I don't need to. And also, so some of the options that you have here, when you come to the bottom, you can change as a vibrance layer here that if you notice, it kind of adds a little more of the brightness to the lights and things that are on. You have a texture that's on here. And this texture gives it a little bit of like a tortoise shell-ish feel to it, although it has nothing to do with a tortoise shell. So the idea here also is that I want you all to understand that there are elements that we use that that give the feel or the theme, and it really is pretty simple. So we have a background, we have our subject image, we have our text. The text have layer effects, and the background has a texture effect applied to it. And from here, that is it. So you all will be able to definitely change this out in 5 minutes or less. I'll show you that it has a layer mask in case you want to do it as a 13 by 19. Let me disable that layer mask first and activate the one on the background first. This layer mask is a DTF friendly layer mask. So that means it's got a vector edge to it. It's a little bit cleaner. It's not so fuzzy. So most DTF printers will be able to do very well with this. And also I'm going to go ahead and turn on the layer mask on the top layer, the foreground layer too, just so that it cleans everything up real nice. I don't have any drop shadows hanging out. Everything is within this layer mask, which is going to make it easier for it to print via DTF. Okay. So this layer mask is going to be, of course, any layer mask works for Photoshop and for sublimation because you can get as fuzzy as you want. But this particular mask right here is going to do really well for you wanting to do your DTF prints. All right. All right. So I am saving this one. And then I'm going to, oh, you know what? There's another thing you can do too. All this text, all of these smart colors, you can change it out. So if you wanted to have the red instead of the blue outline here, or if you would like to see the inside color of the text change here, let me see here. I'll turn this one off. and I'll turn the blue on inside. So let's say I wanted the text inside to be blue. I can disable the layer mask there and make the text inside blue and the image or the outline of it red, so I can flip that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put that layer mask back on because I did like it the way it was. And then also, if you want to turn off the neon, so let's say you don't like the neon or the neon isn't the look that you're going for this very top word, I could go to this group 1 and turn off the layer effect there so that now I get that, that metallic look. And then I can turn on or off this levels in order to get the look that I want, whether it's a dark color, a light color, or a medium tone color. I can definitely play with the levels here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and show you something too. I'm going to take off this photo for right now because this photo is a smart object. All right. And I want to show you some Photoshop effects to see if this is something y'all are interested in. This isn't something that I do per se, but this is something that that my brother Blake did because he likes to actually go in and edit like with a stylist and really paint. And this is called like in painting, out painting, basically doing real Photoshop manipulation of images. And I want to show y'all something here. So you know what I'm going to do just so I can show you before after. I'll delete it because I'm not giving y'all the characters anyway. I'm going to duplicate the layer. I lied. I have to new smart object via copy so I don't change it. All right. And then I'm going to go into this and I'm going to take some of the effects because sometimes we don't notice how we'll bring an image in and it has certain lighting and then another image has different lighting and then it doesn't match. So this particular scene had a lot of blues and purples and pinks in it. So the original image that we had here of the AI image that was changed to my nephew did not have those colors in it. So we had to basically paint that. Well, we had to, Blake had to. I didn't do that. So what this does is you could see here on the jacket, it started adding some of the pink color as if the pink light was coming in and hitting the garments, just like the pink light was around in the background. Same thing here. It was making everything look a little bit darker and blue hue. So this adds blue hue to that image. And finally, there's some darker spots that are applied here that just kind of give it a little bit more shadow in certain areas. And you can specifically see that also with the turtles here. See how when I turn it on, these are kind of showing that pink and that blue highlight, especially along the legs and along the shadow areas. So for this one, I'm going to turn off all the special highlights so that you can see the difference between doing that extra work. I wouldn't do this extra work regularly. I would do this extra work like you're talking about you're making something look like a movie or very high end. Some of these special steps will really help. Even the shadows down here were created. So I'm going to show you what it looks like without all of those effects. And some of us may think it's very subtle settings, but those are things that a lot of photographers do in Photoshop and what you call your photoshoppers, like the touch-up artists, do these type of effects because that's what makes image look more realistic and more cohesive if it has matching lighting, matching shadows, and that sort of thing. Okay, and I'm just waiting for it to update over here. All right. So when I turn this on, it looks like, you know, pretty bright. It doesn't look like the darkness of the background is really affecting the image. And let me turn off this layer mask so you can really see what I'm talking about. See how the background tends to be pretty dark and have these really bluish and pinkish highlights in it. Well, if we don't put that onto the image, it ends up looking like it's out of place. So those type of things are advanced level very, very advanced level topics. I don't know if you're interested in learning those kind of things. Let me know, and we may start doing advanced photoshopping as far as those things, or if it's something that you need done. For instance, let's say that you built an AI character, right? And it's weird because it has some extra fingers or something you don't know what to do with. This is where AI is not strong right now. It needs a human being, and that human being is necessary to go in and edit those fingers and edit that lighting, or to fix those eyes. Because sometimes I'll have one eye closed, one eye open, or one eye will be big and one eye will be little. You need a human being to go in there and actually correct those things using Photoshop. And I don't know if you all are interested in learning that type of stuff, or if you need that type of work done, but let me know. I'm all here for you, whatever we need to do to make sure that we stay on the creative side and the profitable side. All right. So again, I'm not going to have these in the folder. I just wanted you to be able to see what they did. Again, there it is. I'll go ahead and delete that one. Get the little vibrance on there, kicking the image color up. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these into silhouettes. I will turn these into silhouettes for y'all. And then I'll turn it back into the original color style too, so you all can make it whatever colorway you want. So what I'll do is I'll turn this one off, and I'll turn on my color overlay. And this will allow everything to be black and silhouetted, and you all will have the black silhouette in there, so you can play with it just like that. All right. So when I turn it into a silhouette, what I like to do is go ahead and merge that group. And now it is a silhouette ready to go. All right, and that is all, folks. You all are ready for your Ninja Turtle inspired design, sponsored by sponsored by this artificial intelligence. So again, the character here is a character that we developed online live not too many days ago. And then what we did was we had a company switch out the imagery so that it actually looks more like the photo of my nephew, so that way he feels like he's in the movie, right? And then what's going to happen here, now this will update. I can turn on my photo here, and we have more of a silhouette than the actual characters here, and I feel okay about that. Now, what you may want to do with your silhouette is change that opacity up so it's a little more see-through. And then if I want to change these colors up here, I got that. And now you have whatever colorway you want, whatever words you want it to say. And this could even be like if it's a video game theme or something, this would be a really cool way to really get the kids back in this whole back to school spirit, but making them the characters, making them the main characters, and not having them like idolize somebody else or somebody else as a superhero. They are literally the superhero and the main character in this scene. And I love it. I think that it helps to boost their confidence. It gets their friends thinking that that's cool. And if you put your little QR code on that sleeve, then it will help those kids become marketing magnets for your business. All right. All right, my love. So you all will be in class at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight and have this file. Don't forget to download the font so that you have this particular font that you can add to your arsenal. Okay. All right, my loves. I appreciate you. I love you dearly. And until next time, bye.